All right, thank you very much, guys. We are now back. We continue with your quadratic inequalities, but using a number line. Okay, you've got to solving a quadratic inequality using a number line. I am giving you this problem, guys. To work through this problem, I'm giving you only 2 minutes to work through this program, and then from there, I'm going to help you. Wonderful grade 11s. We are back. Just to recap, for your less than, we are looking at the negatives, okay? Greater than, that's positive, right? So now you are working with this problem. You've got 3x squared minus 6x minus 144. And first thing that you needed to do was to factorize. But now you checked, there's a common factor, which is 3 there. I'll have to divide by 3 throughout. So that is x squared minus 2x minus 48 is greater than 0, right? And then from there, I'll have to factorize, okay? Now, how to factorize the x squared minus 2x minus 48? You've got your x, 8, and 6. That's a minus and a plus, right? So now using a number line, guys, you're going to have, this is how your number line looks like, and then there's minus 6 and then 8. Now, please be reminded, you start with the negative numbers. So you start with smaller numbers in your number line. We'll go back to grade 3, right? So it's minus 6, minus 1, and then 8, right? So you've got, because this is not included, I'm going to have open circles, all right? And then we're taking numbers greater than 8, substitute, let's check, all right? If I take 9, I'll have a 9 minus 8, bracket 9 plus 6, and 1 by 15, which gives us a 15. What's the sign of this 15? It's a plus, all right? So I'm going to have a plus there, right? Like in the previous example, we take the numbers between minus 6 and 8. We substitute between minus 6 and 8. Let's say we take 6. If you put a 6 there, you'll have a 6 minus 8, bracket 6 plus 6, which gives us a negative 2, bracket 12, and that's minus 24. Now, Guys, we are only concentrating on the sign. So the sign that we get is negative, right? Now, from -6 going that direction, we're taking numbers less than -6. So I'm going to take -7. So if you put -7, you get negative. So if you put -7 there, you'll get a negative number. Then if you put a negative here, you still get a negative number. So negative times negative, you get a plus. So that's where our concentration is. So now from there, guys, like we said, for greater than, we're looking at the positives, and then for less than, we're looking at the negatives. Now, we are faced with a situation here. The greater than, the plus is that side, and the plus is that side. Now, how do you write our solution? So our x should be less than -6, or x is greater than 8. Right. Now, let's try more examples, right? Now, solving a quadratic inequality using a graph. This is a very interesting one whereby you are using the quadratic, these are your quadratic functions, but you are checking where is your function below the x-axis or above the x-axis, all right? So now, we look at minus x squared plus 9x, right? This is a quadratic function, all right? And then this 8 is your linear function. So what we do here, we've got two graphs. There's a parabola, which is this, and then this is your straight line. Okay, now what does the less than mean? Where is the parabola below the straight line? Okay, now we check here. This is our parabola, and then from this region all the way up, it's above the straight line. But going down, it's below the straight line. Going down this way, it's below the straight line. How do you write a solution here? Okay, so you will have, this is 1, and then this is 8. Okay, how do you read it off? This, your x should be less than 1, or x is greater than 8, because from this point up, okay, the parabola is below the straight line, and then this point going below 1, it is below the straight line graph. Now, guys, for us to make this easier, okay, we know that x is less than 1 or x is greater than 8. Now, to quickly work it out, we have minus x squared plus 9x less than 8. This is the same as, we can multiply through by a negative. And now remember, grade 11s, if you multiply by a negative sign throughout, the inequality sign changes. So this will be now greater than. So you have x squared minus 9x. You take the 8 across, but when it's multiplied by that negative, you will have a plus 8, okay? Greater than naught. Now, this is x minus 8, x minus 1, greater than 0. All right, so now you can, now again, guys, draw the rough parabola sketch, okay? Now, what's interesting here, grade 11s, is that you have 1 and then 8. The graph is now a positive graph. Why is it now a positive graph? We have multiplied by a negative there, all right? So we've got a positive rough parabola. But where is it greater than, right? When it's greater than, it's going to be above your x-axis. So where is it above the x-axis? So it's all the way that side and above 8. How do you write this solution? So x is less than 1, or x is greater than 8. So you still get the same thing, but you have applied different methods. Okay, now this is the question that I'm posing to you. The solution here was x is less than 1 or x is greater than 8. So this is your question, guys. What about if we are looking at these two functions or these two graphs, minus x squared plus 9x greater than 8? How should your solution look like? Okay, right? We'll come back to that one after you have discussed. Okay, now we're solving this quadratic inequality using a graph. Okay, this is our alternative method, all right? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm not treating these two graphs separately. I'm going to apply algebra, okay? And then from there, factorize, and we read off the graph. So that is what we have done there in the previous example. So you've got minus x squared plus 9x less than 8. So that is minus x squared plus 9x minus 8 less than 0. But this is now x squared, right? Okay. This is your graph, all right? This is minus x squared plus 9x minus 8. Where is it less than 0, all right? Where is this function less than 0? In your head, it has to always say, okay, with less than 0, it's always below the x-axis. So it's all the way here, okay? This side, right? And then also that other side. Now, but reading off from your graph, okay? What am I doing? Am I going less or greater? So if I'm going that direction, I'm from 1, then the next one is 0.5, then 0. So it means that I'm going below 1. So x is less than 1. And then coming to this side, all right? So I'm going to my graph, but what's happening here? 8, 8,5, 9. So it's increasing. So you've got x is less than 1 or x is greater than 8. So that is your solution from the graph. Okay, now I am giving you this problem, guys. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Remember what we said, okay? If you multiply by a negative, your inequality sign changes. And remember, you first have to solve the quadratic, you have to factorize. So your question now here is solving a quadratic inequality using a graph. So please at home, you given minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 16 is less or equals to 0. I want you to draw a rough parabola sketch of this, and then I'm giving you 2 minutes. From there, I come back, I assist you. right, thank you, grade 11s. Can see that quite a number of you are working. All right, now let's just check with this problem. This graph, it's a negative. Okay, it's facing down. But I suggest if you're still new and you are still trying to get used to these problems, I suggest you work with positive functions. But how are you going to have this to be a positive graph? You can divide by -2 throughout. If you divide by -2 throughout, you'll get x squared plus 2x minus 8. Now, what did you say when we multiply or divide by a negative? The inequality sign changes. So it's now greater or equals to naught. Okay? Then from there, you factorize. You get x plus 4, right? And then x minus 2 is greater or equals to 0. But now, this is your graph. Now we have a rough parabola sketch. -4, yo, it's a long minus. Let's take it down a bit, okay? Now you've got -4 and then 2. Now this graph is a positive graph, okay? So you'll have that. Now you are reading off. This is y equals to x plus 4, x plus 3. Where is this graph above the x-axis? Now you can just shade, okay? All right, so you are reading your solution off from here going down, all right? So x is less than -4. Or now from 2 and then above, x is greater than 2. I think, guys, we're going to take a break, and then when we come from the break, we've got more exciting problems to work on.